As you know, the air traffic controller staffing shortages are impacting critical airports all across the United States, and especially those in the Dallas Metroplex that I have to fly out of on a weekly basis. A good example is the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport has 42 fully certified controllers on staff, and this falls way below the minimum head count target of 48 CPCs established by the Controller Workforce Plan, which is updated by FAA on an annual basis. The Dallas-Fort Worth Terminal Radar Approach Control TRACON handles all arrivals and departures into and out of DFW, Dallas Love Field, and many other smaller airports in the Metroplex. At 17,000 feet and below, and at a radius of approximately 40 miles from DFW Airport. The DFW TRACON is also chronically understaffed, with only 57 CPCs on staff, which is far below the target minimum of 78 CPCs. Staffing at the Dallas Love Field is also dangerously close to the established minimum of 19, with only 20 fully certified on staff. Even if we consider the CPC targets established by the joint NATACA and FAA working group, which Mr. Rinaldi referred to in his testimony, the DFW Tower and DFW TRACON both fall far short of the minimum standing targets, regardless of the standards used. This is a dangerous precedent, which I have mentioned earlier when you were here. My first question is, Ms. Bristol, or I guess Mr. Hampton, Ms. Bristol, you said in your testimony, discussing support for facility-to-facility transfers. I believe such transfers can serve as a quick and viable alternative to finding certified controllers to fill in at facilities with the greatest need. Can either of you speak to some of the barriers preventing FAA from quickly moving staff from facilities above 90% of the facility-specific target for the CPCs? I've asked this question before, but I still don't have an answer. What actions are you taking to overcome these challenges? That's one. Retirement eligibility is another serious issue facing our traffic controllers. I've had a number of them come to me to ask me to recommend they be extended. Most are, but quite a few, especially those that are noisy, are never extended. According to the FAA's own estimates, almost 1/4 or 24% of the fully certified controllers nationwide were eligible for retirement as of September 2015. And even more alarming is Mr. Hampton's statement that FAA does not sufficiently consider facility-specific information when trying to anticipate future retirement trends. I'd like to know whether the reason for this is due to the lack of available data, or if the FAA has simply failed to act when facility managers would express these concerns. I know I've asked more than one question in this, but I would like an answer to all of them, especially what official steps has FAA taken to address any of the two issues that I brought up.
Okay. Well, thank you, Congresswoman. So the national team that my organization is working with NACA to place certified professional controllers into other facilities. Our teams have met twice now, and we've done 2 rounds of controllers that we can look to be moving. Some are shorter term, some are a little bit longer. We've got 2 selections that would go into Dallas-Fort Worth TRACON that you had mentioned. So that's certainly a high priority for us, is looking to expedite the movement of controllers where we can into the more challenged facilities. As far as the retirement eligibility, sometimes it's difficult. I mean, we can estimate when controllers can retire. Certainly, they have to go to their HR office to actually fill out the paperwork, and they're the only organizations typically that know for sure when. We know that controllers have to retire by the time they're 56. In some cases, especially in our critically challenged facilities, if we have controllers that want to work a little bit longer, we can grant waivers to do that. And it's not something that we do very often, but sometimes we do in those critically staffed places. So again, we're trying to expedite our processes, stay on top of the hiring, and go through the entire process with training. It's something that I'm committed to, and I know that my colleagues in the FAA and NACA as well. It's one of our highest priorities.
What is your percentage of those that request to go beyond retirement?
It's actually pretty low.
What is it?
Offhand, I'd have to get back to you. I don't have that number on the top of my head.
Anybody else?
Ms. Johnson, yes, thank you for the question. On the first question on the transfer, since the roundtable, when you raised the issue, FAA and NATCA have worked very well. We don't have the numbers, but FAA has taken action and is working to it. And we'll get back to you and we'll watch it very closely on how well the situation is working. Given the hiring situation and the questions of how that'll work, I think that's one of the most important things and how we're going to address the critical facilities and the staffing and the CPC issue. You raise a very important question on the retirement issue. Overall, FAA has been fairly accurate on the retirement question, but again, at the critical facilities. And some of the critical facilities like New York TRACON, 39%, Houston, 30%, 34% of their CPCs are eligible to retire. There's very, very careful watching. And when these things happen, they can have a very, very dramatic effect on a facility. So that's something that has to watch, and I think it bears an important point that we made in our report, working very closely with headquarters with the local facilities, particularly about the 23, 24 critical facilities that we've watched over the years.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Davis.